In today's Leeds news, Eddie on Archie's development, Chelsea missing 9 players for FA Cup, Leeds could revisit free Dummett, Leeds taking striker on trial, and Loney's permanent exits on the cards. Morning folks, Jay here on Wednesday the 28th of February with your Leeds United news. Apologies for anyone who didn't get to see the video that went out yesterday's news. YouTube had a massive outage or problem yesterday morning, which meant the videos got a bit weird and glitchy and weren't showing up and weren't being popped up on people's timelines as per usual. But if you want to check out yesterday's news video, some interesting pieces on that as well, and you can check that out at the end of this video, I'll link it there, or you can check the timeline. It should be up there now, so for everyone who wants to check that one out. Apologies for having to take videos down and put them back up yesterday, trying to fix a bit of a mess yesterday, but we'll crack on. We'll get into the news. We'll start off with Eddie Gray has been speaking about Archie's development, and Archie is having a standout season for Leeds United, both when he started the season in midfield and has been an ever-present for Leeds at right back this season, pushing Luke Ayling out of the side and keeping Connor Roberts out currently as well. After scoring his first goal for Leeds, Eddie joked with the player that he was annoyed at him for breaking his young age scoring record for Leeds United, but he has been talking to TalkSport as well. Eddie has stated what Leeds United need to do to help Archie in his development. Eddie believes Archie will improve when he moves back into the central midfield areas and believes that he has all the attributes to be a key player in the centre of the park. Eddie said on Gray playing at right back the following: he's been playing there basically, but he's a midfield player. You see when he popped up and scored the goal the other night, he has that in his locker. Eddie went on to say he's able to take the ball and go past people. He will end up playing in midfield, but he has done really well at right back. For the first time in Leeds' modern history, the first time in a very, very long time, Leeds seem to have an abundance of midfield options. And who comes out of that midfield for Archie to move back in? You've got some really strong options in there now. And it's a really good position for Leeds to be in. I couldn't tell you what the best midfield two is. It could be Ampadu and Kamara. It could be Ampadu and Gruev and Kamara. Archie could be in there as well. It's a really good position for Leeds to be in there as well. So it's a tough one, but it's great to see Archie doing very, very well. And I think we all admit, and I think Daniel Farke said it himself, he will move back into midfield. It's just a matter of when can you get him back in there? But he will get back in there and he will be excellent. I think when you move into the Premier League, or if we move into the Premier League, not presuming anything, I think there'll be more options for him in there as well, a bit more space in the Premier League as well. Moving on, talk about tonight's FA Cup clash with Chelsea. Chelsea are apparently missing upwards of 9 players. Leeds take them on tonight in the FA Cup and will be likely without a few players ourselves. Pat Bamford and Dan James will be late checks for Leeds with minor issues. Dan James with a bruise, Pat Bamford with slight aggravation of a calf probable. Nothing major. Chris Somerville and Georgina Rutter are likely out of this game as well, which will probably see Willie Gnonto start and maybe Jadon Anthony as well. Mauricio Pochettino has shared his own worries heading into the clash tonight as well, saying in a press conference that he has a very tired squad after the extra time loss to Liverpool in the EFL Cup, and he's now said that he will be without 9 players heading into this game. Reece James, Romeo Lavea, Mark Cucurella, Wesley Fofana are all long-term absentees and are now joined by Thiago Silva, Leslie Ugachukwu, Benot Benassia and Carney Chukwumeke are all out of the game. He's also confirmed that Christopher Nkuku will also miss the game tonight after he picked up a knock in the cup final as well. So not the strongest side, but you've still got like an £80 million Mikael Mudryk to come in there as well, so not that weak a side. So yeah, there'll be a very different looking Leeds and Chelsea side, I would imagine, for that game tonight. We'll see how it goes. Not the most important thing for Leeds right now, but momentum is, but that game, the FA Cup, probably not. Moving on, let's talk about some transfer rumours. This is very much a rumour, by the way, so we'll get to what I think about this at the end of it. But Newcastle's Paul Dummett was a very late link to Leeds United in the January transfer window, popping up on deadline day, and it appears there was very little in that transfer deal outside of Leeds maybe inquiring if the player was available. Newcastle have now decided that they will be releasing the 32-year-old defender at the end of the season when his contract expires. According to Dean Jones at Give Me Sport, he believes Leeds will revisit this regardless of whatever division Leeds are in next season. The interesting piece about this is Dummett has barely featured for Newcastle in the last 3 seasons, and I think it's very unlikely that Leeds move away from signing young exciting players to signing a player who will be close to 33 years of age if Leeds were to go into the Premier League next season. I know Daniel Farke wants some experience in that team, but his team is gaining experience right now, which will stand to them next season. I think there's very little, very, very little in this story at all, if anything at all. But there you go. It's rumours. So there you go. Moving on, let's talk about something that is going on the underage. We keep talking an awful lot this week about Leeds revamping the underage setup at Leeds. And according to the Sunderland Echo, Leeds United have taken Sunderland youngster Mason Cotcher on trial. The 17-year-old has been on trial at multiple clubs over the last couple of months. Arsenal and Manchester United amongst two of the clubs that he has been at. Scored 10 goals in 19 appearances over his last couple of trials. He did score for Arsenal and Manchester United. Cotcher did score for Leeds as well at the weekend for Leeds United under-18s against his old club Sunderland. It is said that Cotcher is fielding several offers at the moment. Cotcher could be a good asset for Leeds. The under-18s obviously have the FAU Cup quarter-final against Liverpool coming up soon as well. So looking to add more young players to that squad. We'll see a lot of the under-18s from this year move into the under-21 setup next year. And Leeds will need to be adding players as well as bringing their own players through as well. It's a very big revamp going on behind the scenes at Leeds United currently with the under-8 setup. And then finally today, just to wrap up on some of a story I think a lot of people will be very interested in and probably very happy about as well. The loanees' permanent exits seem to be on the cards. According to multiple reports, Leeds United are apparently working on deals to seal the loanees' permanent exit away from the club. The current loanees that they're looking to move away are Diego Llorente, Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, Mark Roca, Max Vober, Jack Harrison and Sam Greenwood. They're all said to be working on deals for these players to move away from the club before they return in the summer. Diego Llorente and Jack Harrison are the two that are the most likely to leave before the end of the season, with AS Roma trying to do that cheap £4.5 million and sell for £18 million to PSG deal. Jack Harrison is wanted by Everton, who've had their 10-point penalty deduction reduced to 6 on appeal. They've got a second one coming up in the next couple of weeks as well, and that'll be interesting to see. 777 Partners takeover has to be ratified, and that will be the catalyst for Jack Harrison's permanent exit. Luke Ayling, Ian Poveda and Lewis Bate are all expected to leave at the end of the season, with their contracts expiring and the club not expected to offer them new deals. It's also said that Leeds are looking for a fresh start from the entire squad and want to move on from the players from last season. Mark Roca has been long rumoured as a permanent option for Real Betis, who are very keen on keeping the player, who's having a very good season in Spain this year. Also, Rasmus Christensen seems to have gotten a new lease of life in a right wing-back position under Daniel De Rossi and his new look Roma side. Brendan Aronson made it clear a couple of weeks ago when he scored his first goal for Union Berlin that he was staying here, giving it the pointy fingers when he scored his goal, celebrating with the crowd. Aronson has had a very up and down season this year, mostly substitute appearances, and it's very unlikely that he would show any interest in coming back to Leeds, or in Leeds' situation any interest in bringing Aronson back into the club. A lot of these players will move on. Leeds have got a really close group at the moment and a really strong dressing room. You would hate to see players that were, what was referred to as a fractured dressing room last year come back in and upset the apple cart during the summer, when Leeds will be looking, hopefully Leeds will be back in the Premier League by that stage and will want to move on. But it's said that Leeds United are looking for a fresh start away from this group of players with the current group, and then looking to spend upwards of 100 million in the summer if they can to revitalise the squad and add more strength in depth to the team as well. So it's a really good team we've got right now, but the gap between the bottom half of the Premier League and the Championship is quite a big gap. You see the teams that went up comfortably last year all struggling in the bottom 4 positions. So Leeds will still need to add, as much as I love the squad right now, Leeds will need to add some serious quality to this team as well in order to move away from those bottom spots in the Premier League and move into mid-table. But that's a conversation for the summer as and when we get there. And that's going to be it for me today, folks. Massive thanks as always for supporting the channel. You can press the subscribe button down below there if you want to subscribe to the channel. And yesterday's news video, which didn't get promoted yesterday at all, is down there somewhere as well. You can click on that if you want to check that out. Some interesting bits there. Leeds looking at more youngsters from Kilmarnock as well. That's going to be it for me, folks. Have a cracking rest of your day. Best of luck to the Leeds lads tonight in the FA Cup. Good performance is the number one and most important thing. I'm back tomorrow morning with more Leeds news, and we'll have a match day preview for the weekend's game against Huddersfield with stats coming up later in the week as well. See you then. Bye.